people of the internet. Ian, also the Freedom Astrologer, once again here. I'm bringing you another dose of freedom, this time a weekly dose of freedom. And we're going to talk about the week of the 27th of February 2022 and until the 6th of March 2022. So, guys, what a week we had before that, or this week. Many events started in the world, hard events, difficult events. We're literally going through them right now. Especially I think some people around my region, because our region is really affected by this because we're literally living next to, let's say, the aggressors. Just want to maybe say a couple of words. I don't want to say a whole lot about this. Just my heart goes out to all of you who are directly affected by this, and just sending you all my support as much as I can. And let's dig into the week ahead. Let's see what we can find here, what we can maybe do on a personal level, because guys, if let's say, for example, you're across the world and you're seeing these events unfolding, there's not a whole lot you can do. You can send money, you can send donations, you can probably send clothes and stuff like that. But if you're not going to go literally into the event and just into battle, there's not a whole lot you can do, like I mentioned. So let's find things we can do here on a personal level this week to kind of help us through it, and what can come up for us in our personal lives, and how does this week stand in general. So I already went into the new moon, which is happening on the 2nd of March, but the first part of this week is a lot to do with still almost like preparing for this new moon that is going to happen middle of the week, because the new moon always, it brings a certain kind of already a certain kind of leaving. Something has to leave, and something has to almost go to, or in order to make more room into our lives. So I don't think this new moon is any different, and we will be feeling, and a lot of you will be feeling it already. These kinds of seeing these things already starting to, this doesn't make any sense anymore in my life. I'm not sure this should be in my life anymore. But as this new moon is in the sign of Pisces, we have a whole bunch of other stuff I'm going to mention in a little while as well. It's a little bit up in the air as well, because it's a mutable energy. The mutable energy of Pisces, we can already feel it, although the moon and everything is still beginning of the week is still in Aquarius. Our attentions are kind of scattered, even a little bit. We can say beginning of the week is emotionally quite difficult, because the moon is going to, let me just bring it back a little bit. You can see, guys, moon is literally making a conjunction to Saturn here beginning of week. So the emotional nature is going to be more dim, more professional. There's not a whole lot of room for this type of open expressions. Everything is very serious, I would say. And emotions can be, depression is always a hard word, or too much of an extreme word, but I would say a little bit darker. The emotions are a little bit more darker and serious and professional. The mind is a little bit scattered here as well. So and we're preparing for the new moon, which is again something leaving in our lives. So let's go back to the new moon, because everything is happening here in this, or during this new moon. And let's start with the more harder things, that are more harder topics that we need to discuss here, because one of the more difficult things here, you can see, guys, is the triple conjunction with Pluto, Mars, and Venus in the sign of Capricorn and in a difficult Mars term. So, you know, a lot of the events of the world right now are happening because of this triple conjunction, a difficult one. But there is, on a personal level, there is a lot of, let's say, potential here as well. Now, the difficult part on a personal level is that in our relationships, in our partnerships, things seem to be on the edge. Like, very much, there's more aggression in our partnerships. I mean, again, personal relationships, even with friends at times, but, you know, more one-on-one relationships, business relationships, romantic relationships, things are a little bit on the edge, aggressive, more, on a very hard level or on a very extreme level. Yeah, things can get physical. So, you know, be careful there as well. And things can be coming up, you know, during the new moon and even, you know, a little bit after the new moon with our wounds. So our partners or somebody, you know, close to us can, you know, trigger these wounds, trigger this pain inside of us, and we need to literally go through it, you know, because Pluto and Mars together, these are both like, I need to find that inner strength within myself to get through this, you know, painful wounding that I just witnessed or experienced through the relationship or through the partnership. But on a you know, deeper level, it can literally make us dig deep for that inner power and you know, prove to ourselves as well that we can do it and we can, you know, get through these difficult moments if we dig deep. And it's like a conjunction of really deeply seeing who you truly are or what you're worth, you know, even on the material and practical plane, and also how much strength do you actually have deep inside. And again, I just want to a little bit warn you in a way, because it's not the easiest thing to find that strength, especially with these aspects or these configurations together here. But the potential to find it is here, and the potential to get through it with that inner strength and realizing how much strength you actually have is still here. Yeah, just, you know, be aware of you know, things coming out to light in relationships. You might be finding out something about certain men, certain women, you know, that you are in interaction with, or even in global, you know, there might be news of things coming to the surface, things hidden before coming to the surface about men and women, and, you know, our sexuality definitely as well. And it is a bit of a baby making sexual configuration here. So it's a for those of you who are in partnerships, you know, and trying, let's say it's a potential here as well. But on a deeper level, it is it's a like a also sexual transformation here is the topic. So what I mean by that is, you know, you might even see what you're doing in that relationship sexually that is maybe not the healthiest or the healthiest approach, or maybe there are some problems there in the bedroom that need to be, you know, healed, again, brought to light, talked about, discussed, and then action taken to transform them as well. So it's an interesting time to, you know, maybe see a counselor, see a therapist, see an astrologer to help these things to come to light better, to make a plan, make something happen to heal them as well. Because when they, you know, start bubbling under the surface, and now in this aspect, you know, most likely they will come out to play. You know, it's better to initiate, you know, the transformation, because you most likely, you can see, you've seen this a long time, and maybe it's subconscious, you know, but it's been coming for a while, and now it's a time to start transforming these patterns as well. So now another aspect that is adding some difficulty in this or during this new moon is the Mercury conjunct Saturn as well. So because Mercury is so much attached to what we think. It's a lot to do with also, commercial activity, sales, and all of that, left brain activity we are doing every day, constantly in our lives. So if you put these two together, even markets, because there's a lot of selling going on there, and buying, this can really, very much before the new moon and coming into and building up to new moon, it can literally cause and induce panic in the markets, or not even like total panic, but still a lot of difficulty, a lot of fear. Like, I don't know if I will buy it. I don't know. Even investors, or somebody who needs to. It doesn't always have to be financial markets, but it's a lot to do with also, even when you're a salesman, a lot of people can be like, oh, I don't know. Times are different. Times are difficult. Times are harder. I don't know if I can buy. I don't know if I can da da da. So it can make selling things difficult. It can make the mind go like, oh my god, I know there's so many bad things going on in the world, so I can't really put this money into good use. Or even in the financial markets, like selling off and tumbling off the markets as well. So this can be leading up to the new moon. For sure, guys. And we have an interesting one, because right after the new moon. Now, I'm also, saying all these negative things, or harder things, even I want to mention with the Mercury and Saturn, because it's also mind. It's not only that, there's so many things going on in the world that are, difficult to handle, but Saturn brings this hardship, this kind of negativity to the brain, to the mind. The thoughts we're thinking are also of a little bit scarcity. Yes, it can be a good configuration to critically assess and think about certain world events, but still the negativity comes in as well here of the thoughts of the mind. So it's hard to find, almost hard to find anything positive to think about. Things can, building up to this new moon, things can really seem bleak in the world, and serious, and even bad. Let's put it really bluntly. And but after the new moon, now you can see the new moon itself here, guys, as well. So the new moon itself is happening in a good term, Jupiter term, positive term. And Jupiter itself is in a strong position as well. That's one of the reasons why this new moon, I think, is such a intriguing one, because there's so many hard things, negative things happening, and then there's this quite a positively aspected new moon happening in the term of Jupiter itself, and Jupiter itself is very strong still in Pisces, and even Uranus is sending a sextile from Taurus to us, and quite a exact one at that. So what do I expect? I expect many quick news after the new moon. Let's say during the week leading up to the 6th, from the 2nd onwards, after the new moon has been done with, I expect a little bit of optimism start returning, or even a lot of optimism start returning. I expect news, positive news, after, the most likely the escalation of the problematic situation will happen either before the new moon, or at least during 2nd or 3rd of March. The escalation there can happen with the W situation, regarding my neighbors here, unfortunately. But then after it's done, after this triple conjunction starts to separate, Mercury starts to separate from Saturn, so the mind, everything, the fear starts to alleviate. at the very least a little bit, and the conjunction starts to the triple conjunction starts to move away from each other as well. So there is a potential here for some optimism at the very least, because Sun will start to conjunct Jupiter as well. So I expect news this week, but it does bring like let's say the period is still, I would say, 2-week period after this new moon, and we're going to have, if we're looking at a little bit longer onwards, we're going to have a lot of conjunctions happening in the sign of Pisces with Jupiter, with Neptune. So I do expect a lot of, let's say, optimistic news regarding the V situation and the W situation as well, and limitations going a little bit easier, restrictions falling off, and optimism returning after the new moon. The kind of seeing of the future in more lighter colors should start returning after this new moon, because there is a lot to do, let's say, for us to use here, because whenever Jupiter and Sun meet, it's still Jupiter and Sun, even if everything else is like, oh my god, it's quite difficult, but Jupiter and Sun still give that boost, that our life force, that our confidence, that our seeing of the future actually right now, I think, needs, especially considering everything. And Uranus with the sextile here, I do expect the markets afterwards to bounce, the financial markets to afterwards to bounce up again, because it is a positive sextile. It's coming from Taurus as well, which is the sign of financial markets. So I do expect at least a short-term bounce after the maybe a little bit of a bleaker, reddish beginning of the week here. And yeah, guys, I think that's what I want to say about the new moon. Yeah, maybe one thing even more is there is, if we want to look at it from let's say a spiritual point of view, there is a lot of spiritual energy here as well, because it's happening with Jupiter, with Neptune actually here close as well. So there's a lot of spiritual energy here. So for those of you who are more, let's say, spiritually inclined, listen to their dreams, listen to a bunch of other stuff. If you are open to these matters, there's a lot of let's say guidance, information coming in from other realms. There's a bunch of stuff coming in. There are dreams, prophetic dreams. You can even see things happening in the future. So please be aware of this and write these things down, and be open to receiving this guidance as well. I think this is one of the important things that is happening, regardless of this W situation and all the difficult situations in the world. If you can, especially if you're let's say in safety right now, and in better situations, there is a moment here to literally connect to these other realms and get guidance, get information, what to do next, and how's the future is going to be. And yeah, and even I would say, if you look at it all together, I think there's also a possibility here for emotional healing as well in the next at least, the very least 2 weeks. There's a lot of that happening, so be open to that as well. Before, let's get done with the more of the difficulty, and then after the new moon, things can start to look up again, look a little bit brighter again. And let's not get only stuck with what is happening now, but let's focus a little bit. I just want to give you some hope in not the like delusional sense of false hope, but to say that yes, things are right now, they're pretty bleak, and they seem bleak, and they even get a little bit more bleak, or a lot bleaker, but after the new moon, things start shifting again, and a lot more positivity will return. And remember, guys, one of the things I want to say, because we're leading up to this, a lot of there's going to be a lot of negativity. There's going to be a lot of criticism. There's going to be a lot of very seriousness online, everywhere, news. It's going to be all very serious, very bleak. So be prepared for that as well, because Saturn, Mercury will do that. Will and that triple conjunction will also help with that. So just do your best to see that actually later, the new moon, after the new moon, things start picking up. Optimism will return, confidence will return, at least for a little while. Okay, guys, I think the new moon is maybe I don't want to say anything more. I think I said so much about it anyway. Let's go a little bit further, and let's look at what the rest of the week. Yes, we'll have that energy, but still we're at the point of things moving away, difficult things moving away from difficult things. Let's put it that way. And good things, let's say more optimistic good things moving together, like you see here with Jupiter and Sun. So we're going to be experience this, and this is Jupiter and Sun conjunction is going to be exact around the 4th and 5th. We're going to extremely strongly feel it, and luckily by that time already Venus, Mars are both at least almost a degree apart from, you can see, from Pluto. Yes, they're still together in a conjunction, so that kind of aggressiveness can still be there, but the pain of Pluto and the transformation and bringing to light of Pluto will be less felt, similarly to the negativity here we experienced with Mercury and Saturn. Maybe to say more about the negativity, it's not only very bad or very critical only. Yes, these are parts of it, but it's also a very good time to actually make tangible, material, practical plans and organize your plans, organize your let's say dreams and goals and projects that you're going to go towards after this new moon, because there is an energy there. There's still ambition there. There is strength here for us to continue to move forward. We just need to understand that these things aren't going to be here forever. Yes, bad things happened. Bad things happen once or sometimes a lot on planet Earth, but things start moving onwards, and good time to make those plans before and during the new moon, and then after the new moon start taking action with them, because we have help here. Because Jupiter and Sun will help us boost our confidence, the belief. This is one of the biggest things with this Jupiter and Sun conjunction that is helping us. It's giving us the necessary belief. We actually need to move forward, move onwards from this as well, because if you just stand still and read the news about the W situation all the time, it doesn't really do anything. Posting online about your preferences or a flag, it doesn't really do much. And when we use this energy actually to make something happen, to create something after the new moon, I think that energy will serve us better, and we can help in some shape or form. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to help personally, but at least move forward so that you don't get stuck in some of the things that is constantly being bombarded in the media, etc., etc. So keep making, keep working, keep moving forward. And yeah, so 4th of March, like I said, the boost of confidence starts to get really precise and exact. But now the moon moves into Aries as well. Yes, a little bit of an emotional difficulty here with the Chiron, from my last month's videos. Moon is going to be conjuncting Chiron in Aries for a while, so maybe not the most comfortable of conjunctions, but I would say about this conjunction is still like the ability to cut some wounds or some pains from your past is there, because Chiron is still the healer and the wounded healer, and it's the wound as well. So it gives us, when it's in Aries with the moon, there can be a quick triggering, but you can quickly also let's say cut it and move on, because Aries is all about action and taking action. So I think if you can during the 4th already, maybe also entering the 3rd, you can start taking action and making those plans that we did during the new moon a reality, or before the new moon. Remember, guys, just one more time, something usually leaves and then you can take the action afterwards. Now let's move a little bit further as well. So what we're having 5th of March, we're having a couple of moon things here. Let's because it's not that big of a deal, let's move towards the 6th. The 6th of March, because the 6th of March is already a pretty big day as well, because these two, Venus and Mars, are finally moving out of Capricorn, and this time in a way for good, because none of those guys or girls is retrograde. So now we finally have some new energy, new freshness for Venus and Mars. And what does this mean? That we will desire more communication, exchanging of information, definitely more desire and freedom in relationships in general, and enjoy talking in online groups, and want to do it in groups, but like the aggressiveness of the Mars comes into play here as well. So the group environments can be a little bit of more aggression there, more people saying maybe sharper things. Mars is like cutting the knife, so it's the tongues can be quite sharp, and everybody has their very direct opinion in online groups, in online whatever Facebook groups or wherever, Twitter, very good example where these opinions can come out very strongly to play. But also the friends and the people in those environments can motivate us, sometimes not in the easiest of ways, because it's so sharp and tongue, but it can be literally that they say something that kind of ignites us to go towards more aggressively towards our goals. And this is also one of the things that you can start feeling it from the 6th onwards, is like the desire and ambition and even the enjoyment as well, at the same time moving towards our material earthly goals, and just like going towards them quite ambitiously and quite aggressively, I can add as well. So what else did I want to say? So I mentioned the kind of more desire for open relationship. I want to be free in my relationship, even if I'm in a committed relationship. I want more, a little bit of room, a little bit of breathing room in that relationship. But it does bring, I also wrote down open relationship, but it doesn't have to mean that. But the desire can be there as well. And a lot of people can get into like a friends with benefits situation with this energy, and Mars and Venus will be together for a while in Aquarius as well. So even moving forward, when we're looking at a couple of weeks ahead, opportunities for friends with benefits type deal can come here too. So yeah, so be on the lookout for aggressive friends and aggressive, let's say, online group members. This can happen, and use that Venus there to a little bit alleviate the situation. I know Venus isn't, maybe the best with the Mars and as a morning star, but still, it's a little bit of a, we have to use what we got. So, do your best to see other people's perspectives as well, to understand them, and to understand that maybe your perspective isn't always the right one, and then navigating these areas can become a little bit easier. So guys, thank you very much for watching, listening. I wish you a great week ahead, and I will see you soon in the next video.